I work with a lot of small and mid-sized business owners, and they all seem to have one common complaint about their marketing. And I wonder if you have this complaint too. It's freaking expensive. And if you're trying to figure it out on your own, it's even more expensive, time-consuming, and frustrating. I've been self-employed since 2005, which means that I made it through the Great Recession as a business owner. And many times I've been asked how it was that we grew a business under those circumstances. So you'll want to stick around for this video because I'm going to share my secret. Hi, I'm Jennifer Majori, founder of Catalyst Branding and Business Consulting, your place for power, purpose, profit, and peace. Today we're going to talk about a marketing technique that is often overlooked, word of mouth. Word of mouth has a very high rate of return. It's highly effective and it costs a lot less than traditional forms of marketing and advertising. And usually it costs even less than what most companies are spending on their social media marketing campaigns. It's also highly effective when you think about how we're all bombarded by advertising every single day. Forbes estimates that we're each exposed to 4,000 to 10,000 ads every single day. Think about all of the push notifications, television advertising, social media ads that we see. Then you think about cutting through the noise with a referral or a conversation that you might have with a friend or a family member about something that they recently purchased or a product or a service that they're happy with. And it's very effective. We're much more likely to go make a purchase based on that one-to-one referral. So how important is word of mouth? In a survey, Nielsen found that 92% of consumers say that they trust their friends and family more than brands. So while you absolutely should be sharing testimonials and you should encourage things like Yelp reviews, those things are great and they're super important, people naturally are going to trust what their friends and family are sharing about your products and services more than they're going to trust something that you say about your products and services. Convince and Convert found that half of all business to consumer purchases are influenced by word of mouth, and 90% of business to business purchases are influenced by word of mouth. 90%, almost all of business to business purchases are influenced by word of mouth. I couldn't believe it, but when I started to think back to all of these subscription services that I've signed up for, software for my business, even contractors that I work with, like our accountant, they all came through word of mouth. They were all referrals from other business owners that were happy with those products or services. Now, influencers can be an important source of word of mouth, and you might be thinking to yourself, how can I get in on that game? Because that can be fairly expensive for a small or a mid-sized business owner. So McKinsey did some research and found just how influential influencers are. So really those upper echelon influencers that really have that disproportionate amount of power, as they call it, that's really only about 1% of the population. So those are the true kind of media personalities, celebrities, the super popular, well-established bloggers. Those are the very, very expensive personalities to work with. But then a little bit closer to home, maybe in your community, there are about 8 to 10% of the population that are a little bit more effective in terms of word of mouth and sharing products and services that they like that then translate into purchases. They're about 3 times more effective. And those are the people that small and mid-sized businesses really want to target within their own community. Again, a little bit closer to home. They're not quite as expensive as some of those upper echelon celebrities, those media personalities, but they still have a lot of pull and a lot of trust. And in fact, they might even be more effective. So environment is very important when it comes to word of mouth. And sometimes smaller closed communities are even more effective when it comes to word of mouth. That brings me to my next point. The environment is also very important when it comes to word of mouth. So reach is very important. So those posts that can reach thousands of people or hundreds of thousands of people, that's very important. We definitely want lots of people to know about your brand, your product, your service, but reach isn't necessarily going to translate into a purchase. That's more brand awareness. When you think about smaller closed communities, groups, that more intimate conversation, and maybe some of those smaller micro influencers, that is more likely to lead to a purchase. Even better, if your brand can exist within someone's home or within someone's office and it starts a conversation in that environment or around the dinner table, that's very likely to result in a purchase. I'm a big fan of Nordstrom. I used to work for them way back in the day at a distribution center, and I've stayed a fan ever since. They still invest in sending beautiful catalogs. I live for these catalogs. I love to get them in the mail, and I keep them until I get my next one, and it sits on my coffee table, and my girlfriends come over and they flip through the pages. And there's a reason that they invest in them, because we do keep them and we do look at them and we do share them, and they do start conversations. So anything that you can do to have your brand exist within your customer's home or office to start a conversation, even better. A few other businesses that have done a really great job with creating word of mouth. So if you are a pancake fan, you might have been one of the people who had their hearts temporarily broken when IHOP punked all of us with IHOB. So they changed their name to IHOB, and they asked for their audience to guess what that B was going to be, replacing pancakes. Many people thought it was burgers, and then it would become International House of Burgers. And later we found out it was a prank, but it got lots of people talking. We also have Tom's. Tom's is a company that sells shoes, and for every pair of shoes that they sell, a pair is donated, and that generates a lot of conversation. So they've done a very, very good job in fulfilling their mission and in getting people talking about their business and their brand. So how can you get your customers to talk about your brand and products and services? Jay Baer, the author of Talk Triggers, says that competency does not create conversation. That means that just doing what you were expected to do does not get people talking about you. So you might be pretty good, you might be competent, you might be average, you might even be better than average, but just doing what you were expected to do doesn't get consumers talking about your products and services. You have to give them an unexpected experience. One of the examples he gives in the book is Doubletree Hotels. Now, if you've ever stayed at a Doubletree hotel, you can imagine the experience of walking in. Maybe you've traveled a long way, maybe you're tired, you're hungry, and you get hit with that smell of fresh baked chocolate chip cookies. It's what they're known for. It's part of the experience. Every hotel has an oven that is dedicated to cooking these chocolate chip cookies. So you walk in, and where other hotels might have a bowl of fruit, right, just kind of sitting there, you walk in and you've got an experience where your senses are engaged at the Doubletree Hotel. Fresh baked cookies are waiting for you after you've traveled, and you're there checking in, and if you've got kids, your kids are happy and they're occupied for a few minutes maybe while you're checking in, and Doubletree Hotels have done a fabulous job of creating that experience. So what's stopping you from creating that unexpected experience that gets customers talking about your product or service? Leave me your questions down in the comments, and I'll be happy to help you brainstorm. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more.